We're back on the Civic today, and as you've seen yesterday, we did some junkyard hunting. So the Civic was missing a few parts that we couldn't see until it was bought and put up in the air. And quite frankly, I bought the car pretty well unseen because it's hard to find a half-decent Civic, which this one's turning out not to be half-decent. Now you see here, it's missing the dust shield that covers the automatic flywheel, and that holds in the shifter cable. So right now, there's no shifter cable. So we picked one up at the junkyard. There's a couple other things that we had to grab. Here's a couple pictures here. So here's the bracket that we're missing. We also had to pick up a power steering bracket. Now that, or pump, or that's not even a pump, a tube. That goes over the K-frame, mine's leaking. Also my heater vent right here, that little bracket that controls the heat, like right here, the vent, inside, outside. That was rotten off and broken, so I grabbed that. And this is a throttle cable bracket for VTEC, because we are going to be doing a Y6, Y7. I don't know, I'm not a Honda guy, I'm a Dodge guy. So we're doing a VTEC swap with the Garrett Turbo. So the biggest thing today is we're going to get the shifter working, we're going to get the new door on, and Jeff is bringing some metal down to us to fix a couple more pieces that we found. So now the fun part begins. As you see, that's now up. The shifter cable will be held in spot now, so now we should have a shifter. Now, I think I'm noticing here, that looks like a transmission line is leaking a little bit. It looks like it's rusty right around the tube that goes up and over. I don't want to have to replace it due to the fact that we are 5-speed swapping this car. So we're trying to do the bare minimum to get this vehicle inspected and recertified for the road since it had a salvage title. So we're just going to clean it up with some brake dust and pretty well hope for the best and hope it doesn't continue leaking. If so, we're going to have to change it. So we got that done. Next is going to be the power steering line, which is going to be up in there that you're not going to see. But for now, I'm going to bring this down. We're going to test out the shifter cable, make sure it works, and then we're going to put the door on. So stay tuned. So as you see, when you're doing this, the easiest way to do this is to latch the door, which it is latched now. I'm not going to worry about that gap too much right now because it's not bolted on. So what I'm going to do, as you see in here, that's where it's going to bolt, is I'm going to put the bolts in, snug them up, and start to adjust the door. So I latched the door all the way, and with the door latched, you can see the body line is good because it's going to hold it where it needs to be. So for the most part right now, that's where I'm going to leave the door. And as you see, the body lines are all lined up. It's good here. It's going to be hard to adjust the fender gap here, where the fender would meet this door because the fender is not on. So I'm going to adjust it as best as possible, and then I'm going to worry about when the fender's on. Now, we did find some rust that we didn't know about, so we're going to have to repair that before we can put the fender on. And now that the door is on, what should happen is it should be right on the latch where it's supposed to be. Now, if you noticed before, the door used to drop down when it was opened. So now it's a perfectly good door. So we got the door on. Now, I was saying about the fender, we do have a fender. but there's no point in putting the fender on yet. And the reason behind that is right there. So my front frame rail is pretty soft. Now, you wouldn't have noticed this until you took the inner fender out. And then we only took the inner fender out because it was damaged. So I'm gonna patch it because it has such low kilometers. And I am a body man by trade. So, you know, it's not gonna cost me anything. The metal's free, a little bit of time and some gas. So we're gonna fix it, guys. Leave a comment, let me know if you've seen this before. First time into Civics. I know at the U-Pole yesterday, when I pulled the door off the junk car, the car we pulled it off had the same issue. So I'm hoping the driver's side's not the same way. I'm gonna have to drop the inner fender to find out. So here's the next issue right off the bat. This is the new door, the plug, 3 wires, which is gonna be probably, your 2 are gonna be speaker and 1 might be your door lights, I'm gonna assume. But if you look at this plug, off the 99, it's only 2. So you got the red and the brown. So we have a red, but I don't know what the other 2 wires are for, which means I'm gonna have to take the door apart to swap around regulators. But is it really worth it? I'm gonna upgrade the speakers anyways and probably run a sub and an amp. So if it's only for the speaker, should I really do it? Leave a comment, let me know. We'll go from there. Kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest. The next order of business is if you look up in here, past the exhaust, you're gonna see right there. That is a power steering metal tube that goes over the K-frame. So it goes plastic hose, metal tube, plastic hose to the rack. So I'm gonna say it's your return line, not pressurized. And they did that so it wouldn't rub against the K-frame. Now, as you see, we got one from the junkyard. It was free. We took it off. They didn't charge us for it, so thank you to them. We're gonna put this one on and replace and bolt it to the K-frame. I'm unsure if we're even gonna keep power steering, but for the province inspection of a salvage title, it needs, if it came with power steering, it needs to be working and not leaking. So we're gonna have to put it on and then make sure it doesn't leak, and keep going with the repairs of what we're going to need to do. This will show you how rotten it was. I went to undo the clamp and it actually broke. So that's where the power steering leak was. You could tell on how rotten and disgusting that pipe was. What a flaw. Then I gotta get that clamp out, get that rubber piece out of that, and then continue with my day. Okay, we got the Civic up on the ground, and as you'll see, there's a new line back there. Right there, you can see it. That's gonna come up. Now, a couple issues I run into right away, and this is what you're gonna run into with an older car. This is the power steering line here. You can see it's rotten. It is what it is. I can take it off, I can put a piece of tube in it and connect it. But if you look further down in there, you'll see that the tube, okay, right there, you'll see right where my finger's pointing is the other tube that comes up, goes around, comes in here and goes there. And that tube is rotten as well. And quite frankly, this car is not getting power steering. It's a mess in the engine bay. This is gonna be, I wouldn't really call it a show car, but it's a shop project and it's not getting power steering. So what I end up doing is has to be on for the salvage inspection and only for that, and then the power steering's coming out, all the evap crap's coming out. We're going to do like a nice clean engine bay with a turbo. So I'm going to disconnect it from here, make a nice little run down to there, and only have and bypass that whole setup altogether. That way it doesn't leak. So let's get on to it. Now we reran the power steering return. I cut the old one off, but left it down in there until the motor's out. I'm just doing it so that way it looks stock. Most mechanics probably won't be picking it apart when they're doing the mechanical fitness. They're gonna look for frame damage. I'm pretty sure that's mostly all they look for, is to see if there's frame damage. Now, what I'm gonna do is take some zip ties for now. And again, please don't judge this because the power steering will not be staying in this car. So this is literally just a quick fix to get it past inspection. I'm going to zip tie the hoses. That way they're not rubbing around and causing a hole. So the next thing would be welding up some patches. But I think we'll cut it at an end there. We'll weld up the patches tomorrow, get the car back on the ground, get the carpet back in it, get the seats back in it, and then it's brake lines, brakes, and inspection. Hopefully the new hood and patch panels will be here, and we'll put the hood on and stuff. Thanks a lot, guys. Leave a comment, let me know, what do you think we should do to the Civic build? We do have a Garrett Turbo. We're going on a stock motor, and it's going to be a truck. I got to say that like really loud. Truck! Because it's going to be kind of cool. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. Give me paint choices. I'm thinking white body, purple rims. That's what I'm thinking. So let me know. Thanks a lot, guys.